Good evening and welcome everyone for tonight's council meeting. I'm the Mayor, Councillor Thuy Dang. I declare this meeting open at 7:01 p.m. I would like to welcome the members of the public who have joined us in the chamber tonight and online. Members of the public attending council and committee meetings are expected to behave respectfully at all times and not permitted to engage with the councillors or councillor officers during the course of the meeting. This includes directing loud and inappropriate comments towards councillor and officers or making noise that impact council's ability to conduct its meeting. All persons present tonight have the right to be safe and treated with respect. Council will not tolerate any behavior that threatens the safety of anyone present in the chamber or which disrupt the ability for council to conduct its business on behalf of the community. You will be asked to leave the meeting if your behavior is inappropriate, disruptive, or rude. All members of the gallery are required to pre-register their attendance at council meetings to support a safe and secure environment for all participants, whilst allowing council to conduct an orderly meeting. In the unlikely event of an emergency, please follow the direction of council officers and the emergency procedure on the wall near the door. Channel 31 has been given permission to live stream this meeting. A recording of the meeting will be published on Council's website. For tonight's agenda, item number 1, the opening, including acknowledgement of the country. So please stand for the acknowledgement of country. On behalf of Brimbank City Council, I respectfully acknowledge and recognize the Wurundjeri and Bunurong people as the traditional custodian of this land and pay respect to their elders past, present, and future. I ask councillors to remain standing for the council commitment. Others may be seated. Thank you. At the council, we will act in the best interest of the Brimbank community and consider the immediate long-term impacts of our decisions. We will make this decision fairly and without bias. We will uphold all of our obligations under the laws of Victoria and Council's local law, and will act in accordance with the Model Councillor Code of Conduct. Councillor, please be seated. Item number 3, apology and leave of absence. Councillor Maria Kerr has submitted an apology for this evening. Councillor Daniel Crook had requested a leave of absence for the period from 19 October 2025 to 16 November 2025. So may I have a mover for the motion, please? Councillor Trung? Yes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move on lie on the screen. Thank you.
Thank you. And second is?
I second the motion, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. All in favor, please raise your hand. Thank you. The motion carried. Item number 4, disclosure of conflicts of interest. Are there any declaration of conflict of interest for tonight? No? Thank you. Suspension of standing orders. Councillors, I wish to put forward a motion that standing orders be suspended at per Governance Rule 74 to allow a presentation from the Chair of Audit and Risk Committee regarding the Audit and Risk Committee annual activity report, which was included in item 12.6, the Governance Report September 2025. There will be no motion or debate during suspension of standing orders. After presentation, standing orders will resume and the agenda will proceed as per the business paper. Item number 12.6 will be considered later this evening as per the order of business. May I have a mover of the motion to suspend standing orders, please? Councillor Takos?
Madam Mayor, I move the motion that we suspend standing orders as per business screen. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Takos. Is there a seconder of motion? Councillor Nikolic?
I'm happy to second that. Thanks, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. I put the motion to the vote. All in favour, please raise your hand. Thank you. I declare this motion carried. So now I invite Ms. Jenny Johansson, Chair of the Audit and Risk Committee, to come to the front of to present the Audit and Risk Committee annual activity report to Council.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and hello. I will take the paper as read. I wanted to take the opportunity tonight to just explain a little bit more around the role of the Audit and Risk Committee. It's an independent advisory body to support council governance, and it provides support via the oversight of financial reporting, internal controls, risk management and compliance. Our key responsibilities are reviewing the financial statements and the external audit findings.
Just move the mic a bit closer. It's not coming through the mic. Sorry. I can lean forward if I need to.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, our key responsibilities are reviewing the financial statements and the external audit findings, monitoring the risk management and internal controls processes, and overseeing the internal audit and the compliance frameworks at Council. Some of the key risks and challenges that we look at in that context are the financial sustainability of Council and the long-term planning processes, cybersecurity threats and data protection, contaminated land, and climate change adaptation and mitigation. From a risk management framework, the importance of a strong risk culture can't be underestimated, and I think that's one of the strengths at Brimbank. The strategic risk and internal audit group that executive manages is a really fundamental part of making that happen, and is a great way for the Audit and Risk Committee to get assurance around how that culture is being promulgated out throughout the organisation. And I have actually referred Brimbank to a few of the other local government audit and risk committees that I work with, because I think it's a really good example of better practice. So that's something that Brimbank should be proud of. I think that demonstrates also the role of leadership in proactive risk management, and I also am quite proud of Brimbank's focus on continuous improvement and taking the lessons learned in risk management and bringing those forward. The internal audit function is managed by an outsourced organisation. The Audit and Risk Committee provides an oversight of all of those completed internal audits. We look at the key themes from the findings. We look at the strengths and the areas for improvement. And I really think it's important for management to take accountability for implementing the recommendations around those internal audits, and that's something that the Audit and Risk Committee continues to focus on. From a governance and compliance perspective, the role of the Audit and Risk Committee is in ensuring compliance with relevant laws and regulations, promoting transparency and ethical leadership, and encouraging good governance practices across all council activities. Ongoing focus areas will be on the risk management uplift and the risk maturity processes, and looking at the continuing improvement that the SRIAG, the Strategic Risk Internal Audit Group, undertakes. Continuing to work with Council around financial resilience through strategic planning, enhancing cybersecurity protections, ensuring the timely implementation of audit recommendations, and looking to continue to work on the ongoing collaboration between the Audit and Risk Committee, Council and management. So on that, I'll conclude and happy to take questions if that's appropriate.
So thank you, Ms. Johansson, for your presentation and for your time here tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So once again, thank you, Ms. Johansson. Councillor, may I have a mover of motion for resume standing orders, please? Madam Deputy Mayor.
I'll move the motion as per shared screen.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. May I have the seconder, please? Councillor Pham?
Second motion is printed. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. I'll put it in to the vote. All in favour, please raise your hand. Thank you. I declare the motion carried. So the standing orders be resumed. Item number 5, destination of item as confidential. May I have a mover of motion to designate items as confidential, please? Councillor Tarkos?
Madam Mayor, I move item 5 be designated as confidential.
Thank you. May I have a seconder, please? Councillor Crook?
I second the motion as per the shared screen. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Crook. So I'll put the motion to the vote. All in favour, please raise your hand. Thank you. The motion is carried. Item number 6, confirmation of minutes of previous meeting. May I have a mover of motion to confirm the minutes of the previous council meeting? Councillor Rashid?
I'll move the motion as per shared screen. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Rashid. May I have the seconder, please? Councillor Crook?
I second the motion. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Crook. I put the motion to the vote. All in favour, please raise your hand. Thank you. The motion is carried. So that council confirmed the minutes of council meeting number 648 holding on 19 August of 25. Item number 7, condolences. There are 3 items of condolences this evening. Item number 7.1. So Detective Leading Senior Constable Neil Thompson and Senior Constable Vadim DeWatt. May I have the mover, please? Councillor Tarkos?
Madam Mayor, I would like to move this condolence motion, but I would also like to add a further condolence motion to for Cole Achiak and Dao Akuang. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tarkos. May I have the seconder, please? Councillor Pham?
I second the motion at per set screen. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Councillor Tarkos, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to express our deepest condolences on the loss of Detective Leading Senior Constable Neil Thompson and Senior Constable Vadim DeWatt. Both officers tragically lost their lives on the 26th of August 25 during an execution of a search warrant at the property at Popunka in Victoria. We honour their dedication, bravery and unwavering commitment to serving and protecting the community. Our thoughts are with their families, their friends and the Victorian Police colleagues during this profoundly difficult time. Their service and sacrifice will never be forgotten. Detective Leading Senior Constable Neil Thompson was aged 59 at the time of his passing. He dedicated nearly 4 decades of service to the Victorian Police. Senior Constable Vadim DeWatt was aged 34 at the time of his passing. He served Victoria Police with dedication for several years. And Madam Mayor, I will move also to the condolence of Chol Achiak and Dao Akuang. We are deeply saddened by the tragic passing of Dao and Chol. Both boys passed away on Saturday, September 7th, 2025. Chol was 12 and Dao was 15. Their lives were cut far too short and they will be profoundly missed. We are sending heartfelt condolences to their families, their friends and their loved ones. May their memories of joy, laughter and spirit bring comfort in this difficult time. Our thoughts are with everyone affected by this heartbreaking loss. I wanted to say there is no postcode and boundaries to grief and that we feel extensively the grief that people feel also in Melton, our neighbouring municipality. This tragedy is also a stark reminder of the devastating impact of knife crime, particularly here in the West. It's an issue that continues to affect young people, families, and communities. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Takos. Councillor Pham, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The incident that happened to the two police officers reminds us of all the courage and dedication shown by the police officer in the service of our communities, often at great personal risk. My thoughts are with every police officer and their family in this time of great grief and sadness. I honor the service and sacrifice of Victoria Police in the line of duty. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Pham. Other councillor, would you like to speak to the motion? Councillor Troom?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I think in memory of two Victoria police officers, Detective Leading Senior Constable Neil Thompson and Senior Constable Vadim Wall, who died in the line on duty. According to the Victoria Police Honor Roll, Senior Constable Thompson and Detective DeWall are the first Victoria Police officer to die in the line of duty in over 3 years. Neil and Vadim did not have the opportunity to return home after the end of their duty. To reflect on the hardship of the day with their family and their loved one. They were human beings, loved by their friends, family, and colleagues. My deepest condolences to the family of the fallen hero. We need to spread more gratitude and appreciation in our society for those who work on the front line, who do so much for the little to keep us all safe and healthy. And my deepest condolences to their family and loved ones, and to anti-Victoria Police family who feel this grief, feel this pain deeply. My deepest condolences to his family, friends, and colleagues of the rest who lost his life in the line of duty. May his soul rest on the eternal feast. My condolences to his family and friend colleagues. Thus he died with the honor and respect, a true hero. Proud of those our police officers who serve with courage and honors.
Thank you, Councillor Troom. Could anyone else like to speak to the motion? Deputy Mayor?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would also like to share my condolences with my fellow councillors with regards to the passing of Detective Leading Senior Constable Neil Thompson and Senior Constable Vadim DeWard. It's a very, very sad tragedy. I'm sure their legacy will live on. And I would like to extend my condolences to the families, Victoria Police, family and friends, and the broader community. I would also like to pass on my condolences to the families of the two boys that also passed tragically recently. And again, the circumstances sent shockwaves right around the community. My sincere condolences to the families and the broader community. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Councillor, could anyone else like to speak to the motion? Councillor Bouch?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I join my fellow councillors on this condolence motion. I am deeply saddened by the loss of the two Victorian police officers who are just simply doing their job. I send my sincere condolences to their family, friends and colleagues. As my own uncle was a sergeant himself, I am well aware that the work of policing demands courage in the face of danger and compassion. These brave officers went to work that day, like they do every day, to protect their community. Their dedication to protecting their lives of others cost them their own. No one expects to go to work and never return home. These officers were indeed brave. On behalf of everyone at Brimbank City Council, I extend our deepest condolences and unwavering support to the Victoria Police Force and the Police Association of Victoria. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bausch. Councillors, are there any contribution to the speech? No? Okay, I'll put the motion to the vote. All in favour, please raise your hand. I declare the motion carried. Item number 7.3, LC Sargets. May I have the mover for the condolences motion, please? Councillor Truong?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to move the motion for condolences to Alice Cullis.
Thank you, Councillor Truong. May I have a seconder, please? Councillor Nikolic?
I'd like to second the condolence motion, thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Nikolic. Councillor Truong, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Through the chair. My condolences to the whole Natalie Hutchins MB, who lived in Thailand and had her electric office in Sydney Brimbank for many years. Her grandmother, Alice Carlos, was born in 1920, lived to 105 years old, and passed away on 3rd of September 2025. Her funeral was held last Friday, 12th of September. What are the truly remarkable life of her grandmother, lived 105 years old, is irresistible achievement. Alice Scarlett, Natalie Hutchins' beloved grandmother, passed away peacefully. She married with Ross Kaiser in 1939 and had 4 children, 11 grandchildren, and 16 great-grandchildren. She was an integral part of her family and will be deeply missed by her family and friends. She was a much-loved member of the family. She was a warm, kindness, and cheerful. Alice overcome life with challenge and kept her away from trouble and depression, even when her life was very difficult for her. She told her granddaughter Hutchins that she cherished to her long life was that she gave up the stress on her 40th birthday. Hutchins remembered their time together. They were almost irreplaceable. May all the wonderful memory comfort her during this time of grief. I didn't have the pleasure to know Mr. Alice Guy, but I'm sure she was a special person. It's a blessing to have lived such a long and full life, and I hope she can find comfort in knowing she had so many years in the many happy memory of her, sending my deepest sympathy and support. Wishing you peace and comfort during this unmistakable time. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Truong. Councillor Nikolic, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I think 105 years is truly a blessing to honour and speak about this evening. I had the pleasure of meeting Miss Elsie Sykes for her 101st birthday 4 years ago at Parliament House in Victoria, which was a very fitting, grand building for such a graceful lady as she was. And that was really special because 4 generations of women were there to honour her, appreciate her, and share fond memories. And what really stood out for me was her strong wit, but also that was a lady that had lived life to the fullest, something I aspire to as well. This was someone who had lived through the Great Depression, World War II, the Cold War, and also the invention of the smartphone. And I think it's rare to meet someone whose life has spanned over a century and then some. But also someone who continually shared her stories, wisdom, and the love and appreciation for life and all that it had to offer. She lived an extraordinary life, a legacy of strength and wisdom, always inspiring others. So my deepest condolences to the family and I hope that they continue to share her memories. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Nicolai. Would anyone else like to speak to the motion? Councillor Rasid?
Elsie lived a long and full life, one that was filled with laughter, kindness, and genuine warmth that touched everyone she met. Infectious smile and positivity made her beloved figure amongst her network of friends and family. Even though she has left us, her memory will live on, not just in the stories her friends and family live to tell, but in the hearts of everyone who was fortunate enough to meet her. I extend my condolences to the family. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Rasid. Would anyone else like to speak to the motion? So I'll put the motion to the vote. All in favor, please raise your hand. The motion carries. Thank you. We move to item number 8. Congratulations. There are no item of congratulations this evening. Item number 9, public question time. Mr. Bilava, I understand that we have received questions from members of the public.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have a number of questions tonight. Firstly, in accordance with Governance Rule 55.16, in the interest of maximising the number of questions, the preamble to some questions will not be read out but will appear in the minutes in full. Our first question is from Andrew Rosichki. Will Council consider lowering the speed limit to 40 km per hour for all roads in Albion and introducing more substantial traffic calming measures such as local slow points to curb dangerous driving and hoon behaviour?
At this stage, Council does not have plan to introduce 40 per hour speed limits for all roads in Albion. State government also recently introduced a speed zoning policy for reducing speeds to at lows at 30 km per hour in certain areas. Though we have yet to fully consider the implication for Brimbank. To be effective, reduced speed zones require infrastructure or design features to support safe travel speeds. Council has installed traffic calming infrastructure in Albion, and any further changes will be subject to further consideration and community input. In relation to hooning activity, this is best targeted with police enforcement by contacting the Crime Stoppers hotline on 1800 333 000.
Our next question is from John Girardi. 5 years has passed since I asked the question of Council about the bridge that was to be built across the Maribyrnong in North Sunshine. Can Council please provide an update on this?
The proposed pedestrian bridge from Sunshine North to Avondale Heights is still planned to be delivered as part of the River Valley Estate. Earlier this year, Council resolved to accept the ownership of the bridge and the long-term maintenance following the bridge contractor's initial 10 years maintenance periods with the developer. The bridge planning approvals must be finalized by the developer to allow the bridge to be constructed.
As the next two questions are of similar nature, they will be asked concurrently and answered together in accordance with Governance Rule 55.14. Questions from Maggie Ralph and Fiona Kerr have been summarised as: in the light of recent March for Australia protests and neo-Nazi activism, what additional measures is Brimbank Council taking to promote equality and inclusion and combat far-right extremism, and why hasn't Council made a stronger statement condemning the neo-Nazi March for Australia?
So there is no place for people who incite hate in our community. Brimbank is proud to be one of Australia's most diverse and multicultural communities and actively celebrates and promotes our diversity. Many people in our communities are going through a difficult time right now, and we want them to know that everyone at Brimbank City Council stands firmly beside them. We are committed to make Brimbank a safe and welcoming place where everyone can feel at home.
Bruce Lancashire, on behalf of the Brimbank Progress Association, has asked, given that Brimbank Council has already declared a climate change emergency in recognition of long-term environmental impacts, could the Council also consider declaring a housing emergency to address the immediate and urgent housing crisis currently affecting our community?
Council has not considered and does not have active plans to declare a housing emergency. However, Council is actively encouraging housing supply through Brimbank policies and coordinate planning with the state government as a priority.
Graham Ball asks, regarding the draft Carnley development plan, it is noted that the information contained within the draft plan does not include all the information required by the scheme. It is also noted that it is disappointing that the Minister was entertaining approving a plan that does not address the entire site, but instead leaves the difficult areas out so they can be part of a future application. What then will be the cost that ratepayers of Brimbank will be expected to carry for what should be a state government funding agreement?
The areas that are currently excluded from the draft development plan will require approval through separate application to the Minister for Planning at the responsible authority. Council currently had no information on what is proposed for these areas and therefore is unable to determine any future cost to the ratepayers.
Mark Yurkov asks, as a lot owner and having just received my rates notice, can Council please advise what latest developments have caused the near 80% drop in land site value of lots in the Solomon Heights estate?
Last year, council valuers made some change in assumptions for valuing the industrial vacant land properties in the Solomon Heights estate in Sunshine North. Council's valuers have heavily discounted the land due to development restrictions, such as no utilities and services in place and due to endangered flora and fauna preservation, which is unlikely to change in the medium to long term. The change in valuation is supported by sale transactions in similar estates in Melbourne, facing the same challenges and restrictions.
Next two questions are from Richard Carthu. His first is, do Brimbank City Council staff read emails sent to the councillors with email address finishing in brimbank.vic.gov.au?
No, Councillor manage their own inbox, but may occasion forward selected emails to staff for actions. The exception is the mayor, who is supported by the mayor executive assistant.
Richard's second question is, what has been the total cost to the Brimbank City Council for the paid committee members of Yallock Barring Park Consultative Committee for the financial year 2024?
The total cost to the Brimbank City Council for the paid committee members of the Yallock Barring Park Consultative Committee for the financial year 2024 to 2025 was $3,455.
Stuart Wilson asks, I would like to question the Brimbank Council Final Sports Facilities Plan 2018 to 2028, which was updated in 2023. Why is there such a massive gap in the number of indoor sporting venues in southern Brimbank compared to northern Brimbank? Report references 18 less indoor venues, 20 less full-size courts, and 5 less council-owned courts.
Council owns 6 indoor courts in the north of Brimbank and 1 in the south. All other indoor courts are located at schools, universities, and private facilities for which Council does not control their planning or operations. It is possible that due to the north of Brimbank being developed later than the south, that there was a high demand for indoor facilities at the time, which result in more indoor facility being developed in the north. The sports facility development plan clearly identifies the needs for more indoor courts in the south of Brimbank, with the 3 highest priority locations for future development being in the south.
Stuart also asks, why is there no sporting infrastructure spending in Brimbank South?
Location is not a criteria that is considered when council determines funding for sports facility developments, but rather the condition of the access is a major factor. But council had invested significantly into developing sporting infrastructure in the south with recent major projects, including the new $4 million pavilion and car park at Lloyd Reserve, and current projects including a new $5.8 million pavilion at J.R. Parsons Reserve, 6 upgrade tennis courts at Selwyn Reserve, and a major refurbishment of the J.R. Parsons Reserve Cricket Football Pavilion. Council will be upgrade the tennis pavilion, car park, and playground at the site.
Madam Mayor, there are no further questions for this evening, noting that one question from Bobby Coronius has been disallowed under Governance Rule 55.11.9 as it relates to a development. This question will be responded to outside of public question time by officers. And there was one question from Graham Bloor, which has been disallowed under Governance Rule 55.11.3 as the response has already been provided to the question prior to this meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Bilaver. We move to item number 10, petitions. There is one petition to receive this evening. Request for waste and recycling services at 12 to 14 George Street, Sunshine. So may I have the mover for the motion, please? Councillor Crook.
I move the motion as per the shared screen. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
May I have the seconder, please? Councillor Nguyen.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I second the motion as per shared screen.
Thank you. I'll put the motion to the vote. All in favour, please raise your hand. I declare the motion carried. Item number 11, minutes, reports of delegated committee. There are no minutes of delegated committees. Item number 12, officer reports. There are 7 officer reports for consideration by council tonight. If you have your own motion this evening, you must draft these motions and provide to the governance team via email so that they may be shared on screen and form parts of the meeting. Otherwise, we may have to defer the matter until the motion has been written, allowing the meeting to proceed uninterrupted. Report number 12.1, Planning Activity Update and Delegate Decision and Planning Scheme Amendments Update, August 2025. I invite Director Wash to present their report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The purpose of this report is to provide Council with a status update on the planning permit applications and trends in planning approvals in Brimbank, decisions made under delegated authority during August regarding planning permit applications and other matters, and also a status of current planning scheme amendments as at the 31st of August of this year. Officers recommend that Council notes the activity update, including the decisions made under delegated authority, that is attachment 1, and also the Council notes the summary of planning scheme amendments that are currently afoot. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Director Wash. Councillor, are there any questions to the Director? No questions? May I have the mover for the motion, please? Councillor, Deputy Mayor.
I'll move the motion as per shared screen.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. May I have seconder, please? Councillor Crook.
I second the motion as per the shared screen. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Crook. Madam Deputy Mayor, would you like to speak to the motion?
Just briefly, Madam Mayor, to reiterate what Director Walsh said. Besides the planning applications, there have been 5 appeals were lodged at VCAT in August, and no determination have been reached as yet. This report also highlights the progress of the amendment C219 BRIM with regards to heritage properties in the Grand Junction and Matthew Hills Estate precincts, and include Beaufort Houses and Concert Warehouse. I commend this report to Council.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Councillor Crook, would you like to speak to the motion?
No, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Crook. Anyone else like to speak to the motions? Thank you. I put the motion to the vote. All in favour, please raise your hand. I declare the motion carried. Report number 12.2, illegal food park trading St. Albans. I invite Director Wash to present their report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As Council is aware, we are facing a challenge with illegal footpath trading in St Albans, particularly along Elfrida Street. This report provides Council with an understanding of the range of activities that have been identified in 3 phases in response and to address this challenge. And officers are asking Council to note the constructive working relationship that we have with Victoria Police in response to this challenge. Also, we're asking Council to note the multifaceted drivers that are contributing to the challenge there in St Albans, and also to acknowledge and note the 3-phase plan that is outlined in the report in response. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Director Wash. Councillor, are there any questions to Director Wash? May I have the mover for the motion, please? Councillor Pham?
I move the motion at the per printed paper. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Pham. Is there a seconder? Councillor Tarkos?
I second the report as per shared screen. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tarkos. Councillor Pham, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. So, Council had been tackling illegal footpath trading for several years. However, it had increased significantly since COVID pandemic. While Council had increased its regulatory response, illegal footpath trading had persisted and now require a more comprehensive and sustained response. Council have developed this plan to tackle illegal footpath trading in Elfrida Street, which involves a combination of measures and action which will be delivered in 3 stages over 9 months. The plan includes the delivery of a business engagement and educational program, a program of community engagement and outreach with unregistered street traders, a communication and community engagement campaign to raise awareness and inform and educate the community, a program of compliance that includes targeted and sustained compliance involving 4 compliance officers positions in the center between designated hours, 7 days per week for 3 months. Increase permanent resourcing on an ongoing basis after the 3 months intensive period through employment of 2 compliance officers to maintain higher compliance levels. Continue to liaison with Victoria Police to undertake joint enforcement and increase their patrols, and also increase advocacy for police resourcing. This issue of illegal footpath trading is multifaceted, and while often treated as a compliance issue, its drivers and impacts are broader and more complex. Council response incorporated culturally appropriate engagement and explanation to ensure enforcement efforts addresses language barriers, generational differences, and unfamiliarity with local law enforcement procedures. Council response in tailors to St. Albans and involve culturally sensitive communication and outreach that builds understanding of local rules while acknowledging and respecting cultural tradition and life experience. We want this response to be strong deterrent for illegal trading activity, provide a long-term solution while also being considered and measures respond that embrace a social and human trusted approach. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Pham. Councillor Tarkot, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you. I'd like to endorse what Councillor Pham said. I'd like to also say, as a person who regularly shops in St Albans, the illegal footpath selling really ramps up on the weekends because they know there's not much law enforcement, and there are regular spots, but it moves around quite a lot. It's quite dynamic, where when there is the sparsity of law officers. The three-phase plan proposed at tonight's council meeting is a strong and comprehensive plan to tackle the escalation of illegal trade, and it's a balanced approach, recognising that there are deeper drivers and complex issues at play. A singular approach, a heavy-handed approach, just won't cut it. To respond to deeper and social, cultural and economic dynamics that are at play, such as cost of living, culturally normalised practices, and a plethora of other issues that drive this trade, and it's been driving it for years, Council is really cognizant in developing this three-phase plan to tackle the issue in a comprehensive way. Stage 1 is an immediate response, stage 2 is a targeted response, and stage 3 is an ongoing response. So it's not going to be just one block of action, it will be ongoing. And it's going to be through education, as Councillor Pham said, through outreach, community campaigns, coupled with targeted and sustained compliance officers over 7 days. Intensively, along with continued liaison with the police, presents a multi-pronged approach, enforcing council obligation, which is for us to enforce the Local Law 2 and Food Act of 1984, whilst in Victorian Police side of things are responsible for the enforcing of the Crimes Act 1958, and their focus is on the sale and the purchase of stolen goods. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tarkos. Would anyone else like to speak to the motion? Councillor Crook.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd just like to add that the issue of illegal street trading in St Albans is a deeply rooted and complex socioeconomic issue, and we are working together with Victoria Police to put out a three-stage approach to tackle this issue. But that doesn't just mean enforcement, that means outreach services. And I'd like to congratulate councillors, all councillors and council officers who worked together with the traders in St Albans to develop this plan. It's a plan voiced by the community and enacted by the council. Well done, everyone, and thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Crook. Councillor Bouch?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor, and through the Chair. And yes, I would like to also endorse what Councillor Pham, Councillor Tahos and Councillor Cook have just stated prior. Now, as a representative of the St Albans Town Centre Partnership Committee myself, I'm deeply concerned about the St Albans illegal footpath trading. The illegal trading is not just a criminal matter, but a health concern, as some food is being sold may have potential health risks and not prepared or stored in accordance to the relevant health regulations. Illegal footpath trading undermines the legitimate small businesses in St Albans that already exist and is illegally congesting council-managed footpaths and a hazard for pedestrians, especially for the disabled and the elderly. It is disappointing that Victoria Police cannot patrol due to their limited resources, but on the contrary, I am very proud and confident of the initiative the Council has implemented. This three-phase plan to address illegal footpath trading in St Albans including city compliance patrols in St Albans, with up to 4 officers at a time every day of the week. So some critics may say that this is not enough or insufficient, but I think Brimbank Council is showing great initiative by implementing this action plan during a time when police have limited resources. And I remind again our community, selling or even purchasing these stolen goods is a crime, and you will be prosecuted accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bouch. Would anyone else like to speak to the motion? Councillor True.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I think Councillor Victoria Bo first.
Yeah, you can say first, and then Deputy Mayor will.
Okay. To the chair, I just would like to ask some of my fellow council already bring up and mention a lot of things. I think the issue of illegal footpath trading it go a long time. We take more. I think another part we need to mention and educate for the member in the community because if they have no buyer, so the trader they can't sell it. So it's the thing we will. I hear it the staff from council is will go around with the community to educate. That's one. I think it a part of the important to stop. Another thing is like if we can do like this, we care. It show it the council it care for the health and the safety for the member in the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor True. Madam Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just briefly, I want to echo what my fellow councillors have said. The illegal trading in St. Albans, whether it involves homemade food or stolen goods, is highly concerning. These last 2 years, it has gone from bad to worse, to the extent that the strategies employed in the past need to be escalated. Great to see Council introducing the illegal footpath trading action plan, which is a 3-stage plan, as mentioned by my previous by the previous councillor. This plan goes to the root of the problem, especially when with the selling of homemade food. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Could anyone else like to speak to the motion? So I'll put the motion to the vote. Or in favor, please raise your hand. I declare the motion carried. We move to report number 12.3, Draft St. Albans Place Management Framework. Again, I invite Director Wash to present their report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Reflecting the important role that St Albans plays within the city of Brimbank, especially as an economic and cultural hub within the city, Council has adopted a place management approach to St Albans. This is guided by the update to the Go St Albans Action Plan, which is being recast as the St Albans Place Management Framework. So the purpose of this report is to provide Council with the draft St Albans Place Management Framework for the purpose of placing this on public exhibition so that we can get some additional input from the community. So the officer recommendation is for Council to note and endorse the draft St Albans Place Management Framework and place it on community consultation for a 4-week period. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Director Wash. Councillor, are there any questions to the Director? No? May I have a mover, please? Councillor Pham?
I move the motion per as business paper. Thank you.
May I have the seconder, please? Councillor Tarkos?
I second the motion as per shared screen. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Pham, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Council established the St. Albans Place Management Program St. Albans in 2019 which is based on the program established for Sunshine CBD. Key elements of place management program includes employment of the St. Auburn Place Manager, creation of the St. Auburn Partnership Group, and development of the action plan to guide a program of business engagement, proactive safety, cleaning and maintenance programs, public rooms improvement, and coordinated marketing, activation, and communication. The St. Auburn Action Plan is due for renewal, and the draft St. Auburn Place Management Framework have been developed to replace it. The framework aims to strengthen economic development, improve safety and amenity, build partnership, and support ongoing activation and investment in St. Auburn. The draft framework includes a vision that by 2030, St. Auburn Town Centre will be one of Melbourne's most dynamic and loved multicultural destinations, full of people, community spirit, authentic food, and street life. A magnetic place that thriving businesses, happy customers, and unique offerings. Stakeholder engagement helped identify several priority areas in the framework to focus council activity on, including maintaining our cultural appeal, improving our identity, improving our community safety, addressing illegal footpath trading, supporting economic vibrancy, managing our car parking, improving our public realm, working with our partners to address anti-social behavior. A 4-week of consultation is proposed, include direct notice to key stakeholders, including all businesses, operators, and property owners, and translation of all communication in the framework into Vietnamese. And I just want to also add a few words on beside what happened draft is also that from day one that a place manager haven't been appointed in St. Auburn, and as a St. Auburn resident, I was pretty much fighting for it and was so happy that it's happening. And I can see the improvement of St. Auburn when we have a place manager, from marketing to like public art to cleaning, lighting in our laneway, having a whole heaps of marketing promotional stuff on our St. Auburn Traders social media page and so on, and a lot of small activation like Light Up St. Albans, the Enjoy Local program. It's just, I can't list enough. And also not only that, on the enforcement and legal perspective, that a place manager play very significant roles in that space. So I can't have enough comment onto this, and I think this was a very good initiative. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Pham. Councillor Tarcott, would you like to speak to the motion?
I think Councillor Pham summed up everything, so there's not much left for me except to say that St. Albans has come such a long way since we've had the place manager, as Councillor Pham said, has been that support that traders have needed, but also having those little activations, keeping the place vibrant and diverse, and also the fact that the stakeholder findings, which included businesses, Victoria Police, residents, community, ascertained that the things that they loved was the cultural diversity, the library, the Lunar New Year and all the festivals, the vibrant atmosphere, the gritty atmosphere, unique character, and the sense of community. I feel like a lot of that's been captured in this this draft plan. I'd also like to add something that was missing, and that is that St. Albans is the location of the first theatre in Brimbank, and that is the Bowery Theatre, which was an expression that came through our community who wanted a theatre in Brimbank. Hence, the community got together and with funding provided by that committee and council developed what we have now is an outstanding facility, which is the Bowery Theatre. And through the Bowery Theatre, we've had art exhibitions, we've had a lot of activations, and the theme is to be bold. And I think this captures this plan is that St Albans, for every person that derides St Albans, we love St Albans. We love the fact that you can still be able to do your shopping there. It's quite affordable, banh mi, pho, fresh fruit, and one of the oldest still vintage markets that still exist there that you could go and enjoy that market experience. I think that this draft plan captures everything and really looking forward to all the community feedback. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tarkos. Would anyone else like to speak to the motion? Councillor Truong?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, to the chair. I think Councillor Farm and Councillor Taco have a lot of detail regarding about the St. Albans. I just would like to add a little bit. I think we all agree it's a St. Albans, it's development, and it will be very popular. And thus it all the achievement, the successful to make the St. Albans, it enrich the economic and the poverty in the St. Albans is now growing up. It's it's 20 years ago, St. Albans very dead area and not safety. But I think it's the feedback from the community. They love St. Albans and it's really love it. So I think successful to make it St. Albans become the popular area in Brimbank Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Truong. Could anyone else like to speak to the motion? No? I put the motion to the vote. All in favor, please raise your hand. I declare the motion carried. Thank you. Report number 12.4, Draft Domestic Animal Management Plan 2026 to 2029. I invite Director Wash to present their report.
Thank you again, Madam Mayor. The Domestic Animals Act 1994 requires Council to prepare a domestic animal management plan every 4 years, and that time has come around again. This report presents Council with the draft Domestic Animal Management Plan for 2026 through to 2029, which guides Council's service in relation to domestic animals, that is, dogs and cats. Where we are at in the process is that the draft Domestic Animal Management Plan has been prepared in preliminary consultation with the community. And we're now asking Council to consider endorsing the draft and placing it on public consultation for further community input. The recommendation there is that Council endorse and places the draft on public consultation. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Director Wash. Councillor, are there any questions to the Director? No? May I have the mover for the motion, please? Councillor Nguyen.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move the motion as per the shared screen.
Thank you, Councillor Nguyen. May I have the seconder, please? Councillor Crook.
I second the motion as per the shared screen.
Thank you, Councillor Crook. So, Councillor Nguyen, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, please. Firstly, I would like to thank council officers for the new domestic animal management plan that is based on community feedback and backed by evidence. This includes proposals for cat containments and includes further measurements for desexing and cat trapping. Often when cat measures come up in the community, it is often surrounded by controversy and uproar, but I believe the evidence speaks for itself. Measures such as desexing, cat trapping, and total cat containments are measures that protects the lives of our native wildlife and the cats themselves. There are facts such as feral cats in Australia are estimated to kill over 1.5 billion native mammals, birds, reptiles, and frogs each year. And in Brimbank itself, we have dozens of endangered and vulnerable species that are threatened by roaming cats. In a study, it is estimated that pet cats kill about 230 million native birds, reptiles, and mammals in Australia annually. And containing cats reduces exposure to many causes of mortality, such as trauma, disease, and predation. As a result, contained cats tend to live longer lives on average, often by 10 to 15 years above compared to outdoor cats. And I would like to share some personal anecdotes. So, for about 2 years while I was renting, I was a volunteer foster carer for rescued cats. During that time, I fostered dozens of cats, which several came to my care with injuries and health conditions. This is because they lived a life outside on the streets before coming into care. And I have a picture of this lovely cat. Her name was Duck, and Duck was in my care for about 2 weeks while she was unwell. Unfortunately, she passed away suddenly and traumatically when her health deteriorated. At the time, my roommate had to drive me to the animal shelter because I was inconsolable. I was really upset that Cat had passed away. Last month, on my way to get pizza from my favorite local, my husband and I witnessed, along with other residents, a hit and run. A car ran over a cat, then drove away. That cat had also passed away. And earlier this year, Friends of Crow Creek found a couple of deceased kingfishers along the creek due to cat attacks. There are so many stories like these where the deaths of these animals are preventable. The fact of the matter is, measures such as cat trapping, desexing, and total cat containments save the lives of our native wildlife and the lives of our precious cats. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Nguyen. So, Councillor Crook, would you like to speak to the motion?
No, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Crook. Would anyone else like to speak to the motion? Councillor Tarkos.
I'd like to applaud this draft plan, and I look forward to. I really encourage as many people in the community to read this plan and give their feedback, because a lot of it is coming actually from feedback from our community. I would like to really strongly support the trial of the subsidised dog training programs. I think if any programs can support much more responsible ownership of dogs, especially controlling dogs on leads. We all know that after, everyone wanted to buy a dog during lockdown, and we kept them as company. Then when we started taking them out, there were all kinds of issues. And I think that education programs will really, really go far. The other thing that I really wanted to applaud in this action plan is the continued advancement of planning works to expand the council's animal holding facility. I really look forward to the feasibility plan for this, because a lot of residents who end up having their dogs lost, end up having to go to the lost dogs home, which may sound really easy to us, but it presents a lot of financial and other challenges for a lot of people that are firstly distressed because they have lost their loved animal, and secondly, financially, they may not have a car to go to the lost dog's home. And thirdly, there are other expectations there, and that is to collect, before they can collect their dogs, they have to make sure that they are registered and up to date with everything. So a local holding facility would make reclaiming their loved pet or escaped pet so much easier for our locals. So I really, really support this draft plan, but I'm also looking forward to reading the feedback. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Tarkos. Would anyone else like to speak to the motion? Councillor Nikolic.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd just like to touch on the responsible ownership aspect of this plan, and we all had a say on this, but at least once a week I hear from my residents on this issue. Just last week I had a resident contact me about 20 feral cats next door to her, and her concern was about their welfare and the welfare of the wildlife as well. So, what I'm really keen to see from this program, which it addresses, is a focus on desexing and registration and informing the community of this. And we've had pop ups in the past, which the team will ramp up all the way up to 2029. But also, it touches on the benefits of adopting. There's a focus in there on dog off leash parks and looking at new sites, redevelopments, and upgrades. And in the short amount of time that the Delahaye Dog Park has been open, I've just seen the community go there socially for each other, for the humans, yes, but also for the development of the dogs. And there's an enclosed space there for the small and shy dogs, and that can't be underestimated how important it is for them and their welfare. There's also a focus in there on feral and semi-owned cats to be mapped to enable trapping in conjunction with the desexing, which I think is a really responsible combination. It goes in depth to say that we need to address the high euthanasia rates for both cats and dogs, and these poor babies are out there by themselves. They're suffering. Most of them don't even reach the age of 1. So I support this plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Nicolic. Would anyone else like to speak to the motion? Madam Deputy Mayor?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just briefly, overpopulation of cats and dogs can be problematic. So is any high rates of euthanasia. Minimizing the risk of attacks by dogs on people is also important. This plan highly encourages strong responsibility for pet ownership. The proposed cat containment initiative is highly welcomed. Wandering cats can be very problematic. If endorsed by Council, the cat containment initiative will become effective on the 1st of January 2028. I am also very much looking forward for the community's feedback. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Would anyone else like to speak to the motion? I'll put the motion to the vote. Or in favor, please raise your hand. I declare the motion carried. Thank you. We move to report number 12.5, financial statement 2024 to 2025 and performance statement 24 to 25. I invite Director Hill to present their report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The purpose of this report is for Council to consider in principle approval of the financial statements for 2024-25 and the performance statement for 24-25 prior to forwarding the statements to the Victorian Auditor-General. The financial statements are a general purpose financial report that consists of a comprehensive income statement, balance sheet, statement of changes in equity, statement of cash flows, statement of capital works, and accompanying notes. The performance statement contains several relevant performance indicators, measures and results in relation to service performance, financial performance, and sustainable capacity. Council is asked to consider noting and approving attachments 1 and 2 prior to forwarding the statements to the Victorian Auditor-General. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Director Hill. Councillor, are there any questions to the Director? Sorry, may I have a mover for the motion, please? Can I have the mover, please? Councillor Rasid?
I'll move the motion as per shared screen. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Rasid. May I have the seconder, please? Councillor Crook?
I second the motion as per the shared screen.
Thank you, Councillor Crook. Councillor Rasid, would you like to speak to the motion?
No, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Rasid. Councillor Crook, would you like to speak to the motion?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak to the motion? Madam Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As already mentioned by Ms. Johnson earlier tonight, Council is faced with so many challenges when it comes to delivering its services with so many financial constraints. Navigating a fiscal landscape that is so challenging is nothing but a feat in itself. The operating budget for 2024-25 had an operating surplus of $1.77 million, which is a favorable variance of $35.84 million. Council's overall financial sustainability is in the low risk category, which is great to hear. The report also consists of the Capital Works Summary Report, which is attached to the report. Important to note also that the Audit and Risk Committee approved in principle the financial statement and the performance statements. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Could anyone else like to speak to the motion? I'll put the motion to the vote. Or in favor, please raise your hand. I declare the motion carried. We move to item number 12.6, Governance Report, September 2025. I invite Director Brun to present their report.
Thanks very much, Madam Mayor. So the September 2025 Governance Report is presented to Council tonight for noting. It remains a standing report to Council in accordance with best practice and good governance principles and to ensure compliance with the requirements of the Local Government Act 2020, the Model Code of Conduct and Councillor Support Policy. In the September Governance Report, Council is asked to note a range of matters, and they include the Annual Audit and Risk Committee Activity Report for 2024-25, the Council Support Expenses for the financial year 2024-25, the Western Melbourne Tourism Report Card, submission made to the Department of Transport and Planning on the draft Local Heritage Criteria and Threshold Guidance, as well as the draft development plan for 174A Canley Drive and 26S Glenbrook Avenue, Canley, and an update on the impacts and activity relating to the State Government's Emergency Services and Volunteers Fund. The Council is also asked to endorse a submission on the local government rate cap mechanism statutory review and a range of instruments of delegation for which approval under the Local Government Act Council is required to review within 12 months of the election. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Brun. Councillor Good, are there any questions to the Director? May I have a mover for the report, please? Councillor Tarkos?
Madam Mayor, I move the report as per shared screen.
Thank you, Councillor Tarkos. May I have the seconder, please? Councillor Nikolic?
I second the governance report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Nikolic. Councillor Tarkos, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I want to speak to point E and point F. So point E is the draft development plan for 147A Canley Drive and 26S Glenbrook Avenue in Canley. Madam Mayor, I know that there's been community saying that we as councillors are being gagged on this issue, but I wanted to clarify and be transparent about what is happening with this development plan. In July of this year, the Department of Transport and Planning wrote to Council to advise that the Minister is the responsible authority, had received the Development Victoria's development plan for approval and sought Brimbank's initial review of the draft development plan as the key stakeholder. Our planning officers have undertaken a detailed assessment of that plan against Brimbank planning scheme and made detailed submissions highlighting that the plan falls short of community and council expectations. Most notably, the submission outlines that the information contained within the draft plan does not include all of the information required by the scheme, and that it was disappointing that the Minister was entertaining approving a plan that does not address the entire site, but instead leaves out the difficult areas so as they can be part of a future application. A number of additional comments were included that did not directly relate to the requirements of the scheme, but were considered pertinent to include to ensure these matters are on record. Council remains very disappointed that the Minister has elected to become the responsible authority, therefore removing Council's role in the assessment of this development plan for Canley. I also thank the officers for their diligence and ongoing vigilance in the face of substandard development plans being prepared for Canley and call on Development Victoria to lift their game. I support the request of our officers that the Council notes and endorses this submission made to DTP on the 2nd of September 25 and commend this to Council. I also will find out the contact person in DTP that the community can contact in relation to this development plan. Point E refers to the I wanted to thank firstly Madam Mayor for our residents are receiving their rates right now and are quite shocked to discover that there's been increases in the ECVF charge on their 25-26 rates notice. Council, as we are all aware, have been mandated by the state to collect this levy on behalf of the Victorian Government to support services that respond to fires, floods, storms and other emergencies in Brimbank. The ESVF levy is estimated to cost ratepayers $12.3 million. At a local level, I note and thank the Mayor has raised this issue during her meetings with members of Parliament and significant impact it will have on our community and LGA, which is the second most disadvantaged in Melbourne and in Victoria. In our June council meeting, the Mayor also wrote a letter to the Treasurer requesting a review of the levy to achieve a more equitable funding model and also huge financial constraints placed on our diverse community. We've collaborated with other council campaigns. We've also collaborated with MAV and Western councils as well when the mayors meet. We have included clearly in each rates notice information on hardship support and inquiries into the ESVF through emails and phone calls. Our residents and council want emergency services funded properly. However, the cost burden to our residents and council is adding greater financial stress to the already disadvantaged Brimbank community. I commend this report and commend all the advocacy that we continue to do for our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tarkos. Councillor Nikolic, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you. Yes, I'd like to touch on item K, the instrument of delegation for the Lead West Committee. And just to reiterate the importance for us to be involved as a council, we've had many minister meetings throughout the year, particularly a delegation to Canberra before the federal election. And we really heard that they welcomed the opportunity to meet with regional alliances rather than individual councils. To that note, we've secured 7 out of the 9 federal election advocacy asks. That was primarily a cash injection for rail and road corridors, which will be a real time-saving difference for residents to get home safely and on time, particularly the huge win we had for the Fix the Corridor campaign on that. For the state election campaign, we'll be pivoting the focus to better buses for Melbourne's West as that continues, also greening the West and a focus for funding for youth mental health. Just last week, I also met with Minister Claire O'Neill in my role as Deputy Chair of the Alliance, and we discussed housing needs across Melbourne's West, and I was able to share at a local level what we were doing to get around all the homelessness outreach support services and collaborate together. We've also had a huge increase this year in media and engagement opportunities, which has boosted the profile of Lead West with key stakeholders. We have a healthy budget at the moment. We're continuing to advance our advocacy, but also this year we've had a record number of minister meetings and MP meetings. So I really am committed to this committee. I am thankful to everyone for entrusting me with it this year. We are a united and effective advocacy voice for Melbourne's West. So I'm very proud of the work we've done this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Nikolic. Could anyone else like to speak to the motion? Madam Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would also like to join my fellow Councillor Tarkos and share some of my thoughts on the submissions included in this report. I would like to start with the rate capping submission, which strongly focuses and highlights the challenges faced by Council and how the rate capping up is affecting Council and the community. In addition to these challenges, Council is doing the heavy lifting in all sectors. It is imperative that the state government takes notice to Council's submission, not only to rate capping, but also to the ESVF submission that is highly affecting our community, a community that is mostly in dire straits and is crying out for help. May I point out that it will cost the community about $12.3 million. I want to assure the community that we hear you. We acknowledge that we are financially struggling and that you do not need to this extra burden of the ESVF. There has to be a fairer way. I would like to highlight also the submission to the Department of Transport and Planning with regards to the prospective development in Kerli. Great to see Council putting in this submission, which aligns with the general principle of provision of good quality, high amenity neighborhoods, housing, street landscapes, and landscaping within Brimbank, including social and affordable housing that are appropriately located and designed. I also share Councillor Starko's concerns and frustrations that the Minister from Planning has taken away the authority from Brimbank Council. And not only that, the Minister is also have not made the review development plan public is also concerning. I encourage the community to continue lobbying and working with a number of stakeholders, including but not limited to the local members of parliament. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Could anyone else like to speak to the motion? Councillor Pham.
I just want to add in on the different angle item A3 about the informal meeting of councillor for the St. Auburn Partnership Group and the Safety and Wellbeing Partnership Group. These two partnership group actually play significant role into developing the 3-phase plan to tackle the illegal footpath trading in St. Albans. And also the draft St. Auburn Place Management Framework. Without the contribution of the group, I think it wouldn't go into this far. So I want to echo and the valuing and recognizing of the importance of the group and the participant. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Pham. Could anyone else like to speak to the motion? I put the motion to the vote. Or in favor, please raise your hand. Thank you. The motion is carried. The last report, 12.7, contract number 22, /3167, lawn maintenance, grass cutting, and rubbish removal general parks maintenance. I invite Director Lever to present their report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As you said, this report recommends Council endorse a 2-year extension to a panel of contractors for lawn maintenance, grass cutting and rubbish removal, general parks maintenance and mowing services. Council entered a 3-year contract with suppliers on this panel in August 2022. Four contractors are recommended to be extended as part of this panel. The recommendation is for a 2-year extension. The nature of this contract as a panel contract allows officers the flexibility to select a contractor based on their schedule of rates, and that helps us to determine value for money. So with that, I recommend it to Council.
Thank you, Director Lever. Councillor, are there any questions to the Director? May I have the mover for the report, please? Councillor Pham.
Move it at the presented paper. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Pham. May I have a seconder, please? Madam Deputy Mayor.
I'll second the motion. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Pham, would you like to speak to the motion?
No, thank you.
Councillor, Madam Deputy Mayor, would you like to speak to the motion?
No, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Other councillor would like to speak to the motion? Right. I put the motion to the vote. All in favour, please raise your hand. I declare the motion carried. Thank you. So item number 13, notice of motion. There are no notice of motion. Item number 14, notice of rescission. There are no notice of division. Item number 15, urgent business. Madam CEO, is there any urgent business?
There is no urgent business. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Madam CEO. Item number 16, confidential business. There are 3 items of confidential business. May I have a mover of motion to close the meeting in accordance to Section 66(2)(a) of the Local Government Act 2020 to members of the public for the consideration of item 16.1, 16.2, and 16.3, which had been designated confidential. May I have the mover, please? Councillor Takos.
I move a motion to close the meeting to the designated confidential items. Thank you.
May I have the seconder, please? Councillor Chuang.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I second modern light on the screen. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll put the motion to the vote. All in favour, please raise your hand. Thank you. The motion carries. So thank you to everyone who currently viewing the live stream of this meeting. The meeting is now closed to the member of the public at 8:32 p.m. and will not reopen to the public at the conclusion of the confidential business. Thank you all for attending and for your interest in tonight's meeting. I instruct Channel 31 to stop live streaming this meeting.